my social media journey, if you want to call it that, on Instagram. And I usually recommend that for people to start off with, because making videos involves a lot of prep work. You have to have equipment, you have to have somewhere to film, you have to be able to edit, and all that. So it requires a certain amount of prep work.
And if you're a working artist, right? Like, that's hard to kind of, like, accommodate that into your everyday routine.
Yeah, definitely. Like, my videos usually take, like, 3 days at least to make, is generally, like, 1 day to film, 2 days to edit. So it does take a lot of your time.
Do you think it's fair that we edit photos to post on Instagram? Do you think that's like totally. A realistic?
It depends, but okay. But there's editing and there's editing. Okay?
Okay, editing and editing.
Because if you edit a photo, you can just like up the contrast or like change the brightness a little bit, because sometimes you don't have ideal lighting, and you know, sometimes the blacks look gray depending on what lighting you use, if you use really strong lighting. So then you have to edit. That's just something you do. Like, even if you were posting on Instagram, you'd like edit like brightness, contrast, all that. Right. So that's editing. But if you like altogether just like Photoshop everything, that's a whole different thing. But okay, now we're getting into
dangerous territory.
Yeah, dangerous territory. Okay, hold on. Because the things we see in magazines and stuff, that's all edited. It's what we're used to seeing. And it's different if you're like posting an image of like a makeup you did on someone, and like you did a bridal makeup, and you're like, oh, here's the bride, and you post that. If you Photoshop that to bits, I find that little like...
It's misleading. It's misleading.
But there are certain things where if you're creating an image, like an artistic, like you did this crazy makeup and you're creating like an artistic image, and like if you have a zit in the middle of your forehead, it's gonna distract from the whole image.
Right.
You know, it's gonna...
So we're calling that artistic license.
Yes. Like, yeah, I think it distracts from like the whole image. People are just gonna focus, because our eyes tend to go towards defects. That's something we do automatically. So, like, if someone applies a bald cap and, like, it's great, except for one little part that's, like, lifting up,
oh, no.
You're not going to look at anything else except for the little part that's lifting up. I know, because I watched the Hobbit movie, the first one. I spent the whole movie looking for makeup mistakes. I know this sounds horrible, but it's because it was shot in 4K, and it was the first movie like that was shot in 4K.
It was a little jarring for me to watch, actually.
It was really weird, but because it was the first movie that was shot in 4K, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna look for lace in the wigs, and I'm gonna look for makeup mistakes, and I didn't see one.
Really?
Well, I saw one nose.
Quite a compliment to that makeup department.
No, seriously. Well, I saw one nose that I wasn't sure if it was a booger or if it was just like the appliance that was peeling up a little bit. But I was like, okay.
Could have been a booger.
Could have been a booger. So, you know. It's natural. Like, you're seriously, your eye looks for the mistakes. And I think that if you edit like imperfections on someone's skin to just make the altogether, or the final result, just something, you know, artistic and nice, I'm fine with that. Like, I don't have a problem. Yeah. So if you're doing color correction or things like that, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I think Photoshop is needed to fine-tune things that you just can't achieve in real life, you know?
Gotcha.
But one thing I will say is that your craft and your clients will thank you if you perfect things as much as possible in real life.
I mean, like, as film people, we kind of know, like, it's easier to fix it on the spot, you know, on set than in post, because you know, in post it just takes so much more time, and it's kind of a bitch.
And if you're used to just like half-assing it and then like, oh, I'll just fix it in Photoshop later. If you get a client that says, oh, I want you to do that, but then you just Photoshopped it later, you know, like,
your skills aren't up to par with what you're presenting.
With what you're presenting, exactly. So try to, like, Photoshop is acceptable as long as it's like things that like, oh, the black looks a little gray because of the light, and you want to change your eye color, and maybe you have a massive zit on your forehead. Like, that's fine, you know. Or I don't know, even like straightening lines, like, depending on what you do, like, if you want to straighten a line that, like, turned out a little crooked, like, that's fine, but practice making straight lines, you know? Like, don't count on Photoshop to fix everything.
It's interesting because social media is a relatively new, it's a new media, and so there aren't a lot of rules or a lot of guidelines for like what it means to have integrity online, right? You know,
yeah.
Like you have bloggers that kind of pose as journalists, and they're not really journalists. They're not, you know, they're not doing all the research, or they don't have the know-how to like write an article that's fully fleshed out. And the same thing with like makeup and any kind of media that you're putting out there. There is like a personal responsibility to make sure that you're representing yourself somewhat fairly to your skill level.
And that's actually, it's a big debate that goes on. And also one thing, going into social media and YouTube and Instagram and all that, I'm a working makeup artist. When I really got into the whole YouTube thing, I found out that like 95% of YouTubers and like beauty gurus and etc., they're not working makeup artists. They just do it on themselves. So their job is literally YouTube or Instagram or both or whatever. Their job is to be a social influencer. It's so much easier to work on yourself. And sometimes these people, they can do like amazing makeup on themselves, but if they go to do it on someone else, they wouldn't know like how to match foundation to the skin type or whatever, because they're just used to one thing.
Right.
And that's a big part of being a makeup artist, is being able to work on thousands of different faces. And I don't know, it's just everyone takes people's word as like the law on social media. So if you watch a video where someone says like, oh, this is great, or oh, this is crap, like people take that as the law. But
depending on who you follow, right? Like,
yeah,
you like that person, but what if that person has a totally different skin type than you?
Yeah, or what if that person like isn't actually trained in that, and they're just, you know, saying things that they think is right, like not that they're lying, like they think that's what they're supposed to say, but then, you know, it's really hard. It's really hard.
So what you were saying about having like integrity in social media, there are some regulations for that being put in place now.
There
right?
are, yeah, because it's before you could just advertise something and people would think, like maybe you'd be like, oh, this product is the best product, but you're being paid to say that. That's not necessarily your opinion. And then people, your followers, would go out and buy it and they trust you, and then, you know,
right.
there was
that
a big,
can be messy.
Yeah, it can be messy. So if you post anything that you're being paid for, it says you have to conspicuously disclose in close proximity to the post my connection to the brand, its products and or services, in accordance with the Federal Trade Commission's guidelines for the use of testimonials and endorsements in advertising. So you can either use hashtag ad or paid or things like that. And apparently that's changed a bit too. Before you could just, you could hashtag like ad or commercial or whatever, but they didn't specify where you had to put that. Now you have to put that in the post.
Got it.
So like that's changed as well. So people have to be very aware that it's an ad and you're being paid for that. Which is, I don't know how I feel about it. I think, like, if there's product placement in films, they're not like, oh, look, this is an ad. Like, it's just what it is.
But
it's
films don't tell you to go out and... But that's just something that exists in that environment, right? But that's not something that they're literally telling you to go out and buy because it's the best.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there is a difference.
There's a difference. And also, when you follow someone on social media, the point of social media is there's much more of a connection, because it's, I mean, the way I feel about social media is like this another person, like a friend, that's recommending me a product, you know? So if your friend recommends you something, you're going to trust them. You're going to be like, yeah, that's, if she's saying it's good, it must be good, you know? So I understand having to post that it's an ad, but I also, I don't know. I think it's good though. I think it's good, especially for the younger generations, the younger people, to be aware that people are being paid to talk about things. Because now, like, I'm in the middle of it all, so I'm aware that people get paid to do stuff.
Right.
But a lot of people aren't aware.
That's true. I mean, we talk a lot, you know, since I've met Fernanda a couple months ago, we've had a couple conversations about makeup and what we like to use, but talking to your, I mean, you always want to trust your friend, and sometimes doing social media, like, you feel like you know this person and you really trust their opinion.
Yeah.
And so there is that responsibility to, like, make sure that it is your opinion, whether or not you are being paid for something. I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily recommend a product that I don't vibe with. Not just because it kind of damages my brand or your brand or anyone's brand that's doing, that likes to promote themselves as a public entity, you know, but, you know, because if people don't like it or have a reaction to it, like, that would be terrible.
I try to be as honest as possible because I know how expensive makeup can get, and I don't want people spending their money on products that aren't good, you know? And I'm sent a lot of stuff, and they always say, like, give us feedback if you like it, and you can post about it if you like it. You don't have to post about it if you don't like it, because they obviously don't want people to bash them and stuff. I'm not going to name any names, especially because I don't even know names, but, like, I've heard people talking about certain people. And they're like, oh yeah, that's obviously just a cash grab. And you can tell. That's the thing. You can tell when someone's just promoting things because they want the money.
Yeah.
Because if it's someone that, like, if they actually like the product and they actually want to endorse it, like, they'll be, you know, there's ways of doing it. Like, you'll be like, guys, you have to see that this is really cool. Like, you'll actually want to, like,
you're excited.
Well, yeah, exactly. When I see a product that I really like, I'm excited about it. I want to tell people, I'm like, dude, you have to buy this, you know? And you can see when they're just like, oh, look, use my code. And it's like, oh, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
man. Yeah,
yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
I agree. I mean, I don't have any sponsors right now, or anything like that. Everything that I tell people about is things that I'm personally just excited to try. I'm not shy about saying when I don't like something, because I feel like...
I saw your Instagram story yesterday.
Yeah. I was just like, this is not exciting. This actually, like, really hurt my skin, and I don't recommend it, because there are some products out there. It's a big thing with organic products, actually. You know, greenwashing is huge. I'm actually making a video about it, which will be... Oh, what is greenwashing?
What is greenwashing?
What is greenwashing? Have you heard of pinkwashing?
No.
So I actually am making a video about both of these things. These are things that people aren't aware of, where companies will take causes like cancer, breast cancer research, and they'll stick that pink ribbon on it, but they don't actually donate any money to the cause, or they'll only give like 1 cent for every purchase, no matter how big the purchase is. So you can spend $500 on makeup and they only give 1 cent.
That's crappy.
That is really crappy.
So greenwashing is like
greenwashing,
but
with organic products. So you can slap a label on there that says natural or organic or essential oils, which sounds really like healthy, but the truth is it can have 1 drop of essential oils in it, and that's it. Like, there's nothing organic about that product. In fact, it could actually have chemicals in it that are the opposite of organic and actually causes cancer. So all those things are it's interesting. You know, there's no regulation right now, like, for cosmetics in general, especially organic.
By now there would be, you know,
as long as it doesn't kill you, kind of. They're pretty much okay with it. But that's real. Like, they took lead out of lipstick, right? Like, that was a thing up until, I mean, in our lifetime. They did that, like, recently.
Really? I thought it was like...
Was it?
80s?
Well, that's my lifetime.
Okay.
I mean, but, like, really, like, the last 30 years, like, that's recent. In recent history, they started taking certain products out of, or certain ingredients out of products, but that's
crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy that it's like no one's watching these companies. I used to work for a blog called, well, I don't even know if I should say it, because I could get some people in real trouble, but I used to work with a former CEO of Procter & Gamble, and Procter & Gamble, they're one of, like, they own CoverGirl and, like, Olay, and he would tell us, you know, I've sat in board meetings where we talk about how some products that we sell are causing cancer, and, you know, they sell them anyway. they know it. The thing is, they know it, and there's no responsibility, and that's why, as makeup artists, I feel like there is a personal responsibility. To like make sure that you know what's in your products, and if there's any adverse side effects, and of course, there's always like lobbying for and against, right? So you have a lot of people saying, parabens cause cancer, and there's a lot of people saying parabens don't actually do anything; they just happen to be there. And my response is always like, well, why are they there if they're not naturally occurring? Like, right? Just being woke, man. Like figuring out like what's actually happening in the world around you, and not being so consumed by the marketing.